Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I went from this to this in just a little under 7 months. Stick around to find out how. Good morning everybody, semi-retired Bob here. It's Tuesday here in North Carolina, which means you're seeing this on Wednesday. If this is your first time here, thank you, I'm glad you're here. I hope you enjoy this video. If you're a returning viewer, thank you also. I'm very happy you're here. I'm just happy everybody's here. And I'm happy I finally get to get out on the trail after yesterday's, I won't call it a disaster of a day, because I got to help out Brother Jorge. I got to do a lot of stuff to help out. But it just wasn't the day I had expected. You ever have days like that where it actually wasn't a bad day? It just turned out nothing like you expected it to. So that's where yesterday went. In case this is your first time here and we're wondering, what's this old guy doing with that other camera on his head and why is he out there on a trail? Well, for those of you new here, one of the things I like to do is prove that it's never too late by demonstrating. I come out here and hike on these trails as often as I can, do as much as I can, and just let you see me hike. I'm almost 60 years old, and just 7 short months ago, I could barely stand for 2.5 minutes. I certainly couldn't walk to the front door, and now I'm out here hiking. So it's never too late to get started. Think about doing your own version of the carnivore diet. But today we are going to talk about a commercial I saw on TV that just kind of made me angry. And we're also going to talk about a little bit about fasting and intermittent fasting. So I know we talked about intermittent fasting a lot, but we always have new people and we always have more questions. So we'll jump right into the subjects here in just a few moments. For you, it'll be like I was never gone. But for me, in case you didn't know, I'm on the lake trail today. I was thinking about mileages last night, and the one I did yesterday, well, the last time I was out here, that was, I went over the longleaf trail and up around the steps on the Spanish moss trail. I think the lake trail plus the bird and the Galax trail, those two little double loops up above that bench that I like to sit on out by the lake, should be very close to the same mileage without all the steps. So I may rotate just a little bit. We'll have to see what happens. But I need to get down to some warm-up hiking here. I will probably, I don't know if you guys have seen much of this trail or not. This is the easy section, so I'm probably not going to film much more of this. Although, as you can see ahead of me, I have no idea how long ago those trees got cut out. But there are some trees in the middle of this trail that you have to go around. But these stumps don't look like they've been there. Oh, that one may have been there for 10 or 15 years, but because I think stumps rot out after a while. I could be wrong. But yeah, we're coming up on the sections of this trail that have lots of roots and things that I have to navigate. So I'm going to get down to some hiking with my trekking poles here, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. See, it was like I was never gone, but now I'm out at that first bench, about a mile and a quarter, mile and a half into the hike. But I saw a commercial last night that just made me angry. I'm not going to say the name of the drug, because that could get me into trouble. I'm not going to say the company, because that could get me into trouble. But it was one of these ads for some of the new drugs for irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis. You know, there's 4 or 5 different gastrointestinal things that have really, I mean, they've always been around, but have really cropped up in the last 25, 30 years. And we all know why that is. But they make this ad for this drug like, just buy our drug, you know, and you can be free of all of this, and think of how good your life can be, and this is going to be great for you. But this may increase in the fine print, that low voice that kind of rattles through everything. I don't think I can remember them all, but may cause increased chance of infection, including tuberculosis, may increase risk of heart disease and heart attack, may increase risk of stroke. Tell your doctor if you have a fever or think you might have an infection of some sort. May cause other problems up to and including cancer and death. What kind of a freeing thing is that? And we all know that now, I'm not going to say 100%, but a great majority of the people with those problems, if they would stop irritating the internal parts of their body by dumping tons and tons of fiber down there that they can't digest, so it literally scrapes along the walls of your innards as it's moving through, and then adding to the inflammation with sugar. When I say sugar, I mean all carbohydrates, because it all breaks down to sugar. But if they would just do those 2 things, they wouldn't have to take dangerous drugs that their food is causing in the first place. Like I said, it's not 100%, but most everyone I won't say talked to, but read comments from, both on my channel and others' channels, I'd have to say, 95 to 98% of all people have see relief from those things. And there's an eczema pill out there too, eczema and psoriasis, skin conditions. Same thing. You can either take a pill that may cause death, or you can just stop dumping inflammation into your body in the form of carbohydrates and sugar and vegetable seed oils. And that's why what we're doing here is so important, folks, because many people were just like me before I found, Frigno's Freedom and then Dr. Barry and all the other channels that I've been watching. Before I found them, I was just like all those people out there, waiting for the next pill that might help my arthritis a little bit more. Waiting for the next pill that might help my gout a little more. Waiting for the next pill that might help my diabetes, or my fatty liver, or my kidney disease. There are, even though they're the carnivore slash keto slash proper human diet space has expanded tenfold in the last decade. There are a lot of us out here. We're still just a drop in the bucket of the total population. I believe we're continuing to grow, but we need to continue to grow. Everybody needs to say something to somebody, because I know if it was one of my sisters or my mom or even just a close friend, I would pray that they listen to what I have to say and at least give it a try for 30, 60, 90 days. I mean, if you've been suffering your whole life with one of these diseases, what's an additional 45 to 90 days going to cost you before you start taking that dangerous pill? I don't know what the answer is, but the answer is, of course, I'm going to kind of steal a little bit from Professor K here. Studies have shown that the number one cause of getting one of these diseases is not subscribing to this channel and not pressing the like button. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that in. It's kind of funny, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, share this out with some friends, find out what's going on, especially friends of yours that are taking these dangerous drugs. It's like, look, instead of risking a heart attack or a stroke or cancer or death, how about you try changing your diet for a few days? But yeah, that's my little rant about commercials and what I saw on TV last night. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, I was back off of Blue Bloods and doing a Criminal Minds season last night. I know, my life is so exciting, but by the time I get out here and get these hikes in and then do all the editing and answer comments, which seems like it's an endless thing, but I do love talking to people, so I keep doing it. I try to answer all the comments on my videos, or if my brain isn't working right and I don't think of something appropriate to say in response, I will give the comment a like and a heart, just to let everybody know that I have read their comments, because I do read all of the comments, and I answer as many as I can, but it's really hard to answer that many comments. But it's great. I'm not complaining. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I love it. But by the time I get all that stuff done, I don't do a whole lot else. I just veg out in front of the TV, because I do most of my Bible studying first thing in the morning before I come out here. I mean, if you're not waking up with at least, a half hour of Bible and a half hour of prayer, you need to work on that. Okay, that's all we're going to say about that today. I'm not out here to preach to you, except about the Carnivore Diet. That's what I'm here to preach to you about. So make sure you continue to share this with your friends. I've got some more thoughts on up the trail, but according to the camera, I've been sitting here for about 8 minutes, so I need to get up and get moving before I stiffen up, because I still have quite a bit I want to do today. So I will see you guys on down the trail. It'll be like I was never gone. Hello again, everybody. I'm back here on the bench at my favorite place in the world, down at the corner of the lake. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I never get tired of this view. How could you ever get tired of sitting down here? But because I mentioned it in yesterday's video, I want to briefly discuss fasting and intermittent fasting with you today. I have had I won't call it a change of heart, just a little change in listening to a lot of Professor Bart K's stuff. He says true fasting starts after 3 days. I'm not going to disagree with him, because disagreeing with Professor K can lead to a world of trouble, because he's probably right physiologically. There's probably something that changes after 3 days. But he also suggests anything longer than a 3-day fast, that you make sure you're being advised by an appropriate medical professional, whether it be your personal doctor or your coach, or if they're qualified to do that, whoever it is. If you're going to go longer than 3 days, you want to make sure you get some advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about. But most of us do intermittent fasting, which just means you're not eating all day every day. Most people that sleep 8 hours a night, that's already 8 hours fasting. We just need to extend that period a little bit. Hold on breakfast. Even if you're still eating 3 meals a day, hold on breakfast till, when you used to have your mid-morning snack, so say 10 o'clock or so. And then get your lunch about 2. And then I guess, we just had a leaf join us on the bench from somewhere up above. And then get your dinner by about 6. Now you're only eating from 10 in the morning to 6 at night. That's 8 hours. So the other 16 hours, you're not eating. And if you're eating until you're comfortably stuffed, all 3 of those meals, you will be less likely to snack. And snacking is the real... I'm not sure where it came from, and when we decided that snacks were something everybody had to have all the time. It was probably one of those chip companies out there that keeps pushing different flavors of chips on everybody, that snacking's such a good idea. Or the packets of snack crackers or whatever. Because I remember when I was a kid, after breakfast, it was outside. Doesn't matter what the weather's like. If it was in the summertime and we weren't in school, it was outside. And we didn't come in, 9:30, 10, 10:30 looking for something to nibble on. When it was lunchtime, lunch appeared on the back porch. We didn't even get to come in and wash our hands or do any of that stuff. We were outside. Lunch appeared on the back porch. And then we stayed outside until we got called for dinner. And then after, for dinner, we would go in and get washed up from being outside all day. And then we'd have dinner. And then do something as a family, whether it be play a board game or watch TV or whatever it is. And then go to bed. There was no snacking. I'm not sure where this snacking thing came from, but you need to eat more at your meals, especially your dinner meal, if you're still snacking in the evening watching TV. Because the benefits of getting to an 18 to 24 hour fast, which is, I get 23 plus every day, because except on days I back up and eat early, but I'm eating 1 meal a day, so it usually ends up being 24 to 25 hours, and my meals will slowly creep later, and then 1 day a week I'll intentionally back it up to 3:30 or 4 o'clock so that I can do the creep again. But we get so many benefits from having not put food in our system for so long. And number one is, if you're trying to beat diabetes, your insulin level will have a chance to drop and stay dropped. And if that 1 meal a day you're eating is just good fatty red meat, then yes, the protein in that will cause an insulin bump, which you actually want every day, but it won't be this huge spike that you get from carbs and sugar. And then it'll come back down and it'll stay low. And keeping your insulin super low, well, I will just say for me, keeping my insulin super low, doing 1 meal a day, primarily strict carnivore without dairy except for butter, and then the last, what is this? December. Has it really been 3 months since I started doing Lion Diet? Maybe only 2.5 months. But anyway, that's how you beat diabetes, folks. Intermittent fast. But again, don't force it. Don't just start off today and say, I'm only going to eat 1 meal a day like Bob. No. Eat until you're comfortably stuffed when you're hungry. And it will eventually whittle down. You might not ever get to 1 meal a day, but you will eventually wake up one morning and go, oh, I don't really need breakfast. I'm going to wait a while. And then about lunchtime, you're ready to have your lunch. Or if you had your breakfast and your lunch, one evening you're going to be getting ready to cook dinner and you're like, I just really don't want dinner. So then you end up skipping dinner, and eventually you'll level out at one or two meals a day, and you'll have those 2 hours in like a 6-hour feeding window. So you'll be doing an 18-6, and 18 hours of fasting is the beginning of the sweet spot for all of the good effects from intermittent fasting, like autophagy, which is the system where the body basically recycles your bad cells that are damaged, and turns them into good cells. So if you want more information about intermittent fasting, I have a couple of videos further back on that. Dr. Barry has some good videos about that. But the true expert is, of course, Dr. Jason Fung. Go watch some of his stuff. He is the guru of fasting and intermittent fasting. So be sure and watch his stuff too if you want more information about this. But now, one of the things, I'm going to show you a few pictures here as I start off the next section of the video. I've been, since I've been coming out here, I've been so focused on, the first few times was just getting further down the trail. And then I was focused on getting to the lake and showing you the lake photos and all that stuff. And this morning I was just kind of, in the zone, hiking out here, doing the first part of the trip, because we're a little over 2 miles, about 2.25 miles into the day now. But I was really just hiking and smiling, enjoying the morning, and found some interesting shots, at least I think they're interesting, back at the very start of this trail on the other end, which I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to because I've been talking to you guys all the time. So I'm going to stick those in here, and then I'm going to stick this, I haven't shown you the bird trail all the way around yet, so at some point I'm going to fire up the bob cam and show you some of that. The loop trail is behind me. There should be about 2 miles of trail back there. 2 miles in, a little over 2 miles, a little over 2 miles of trail there, and a little over 2 miles back. Should make for a little bit over a 6-mile day, but we'll see. I'll actually officially track this stuff when I get there. But I will see you on up the trail. As you can see from the sign, that's where we started this section of video from. Okay guys, I'll see you on down the trail. Welcome back everyone. I'm back on that bench by the lake. I've forgotten how hard that bird trail is. And that's a monster. It's rated as easy. I did some research because of its distance and because it's a loop trail. It doesn't actually have any elevation change because, it starts and stops in the same spot. So it gets listed as easy. But, well, you saw in the video, that thing goes uphill and downhill, down into the valley, back up out of the valley, down by the river, back up by the river. It's narrow in spots, lots of roots, lots of steps. That's for a trail that's listed as easy, that's really, really a brutal trail. But I'm glad I got it done, and I'm glad I got to show it to you. At least I think I get to show it to you. I had to record on the bob cam, so we'll see what happens. I never know how the footage is going to turn out till I get back to the house, but I'm at a little over the 4-mile mark here, and it's a little more than 2 miles back to the truck. So I'm going to be tired when I get done today, but that's okay. I don't necessarily agree with the no pain, no gain, but if you're not pushing yourself a little bit, you aren't going to make any gains. Even if that push for 1% better is just an extra trip down to the mailbox, or, when you go to get up off the toilet, you do your regular, you take your business, then you go to stand up, well, sit back down and then stand back up again. Do that twice. That can be a little extra. Whatever that extra movement is, once you get to where you feel like you want to do some movement, because just like the fasting, I don't recommend pushing it. Don't push the fasting. Don't push the exercise. Just let it all come to you. I said don't push the exercise. That's sort of yes and no. I mean, once you start doing stuff, you do have to push yourself a little bit to get the extra 1%. But it's okay for muscles to get tired. It's not okay if they really start to hurt. If something really starts to hurt, you need to stop and rest. And if it continues to hurt, you need to contact your physician. But, yeah, that's about all I've got for here on the bench. I just wanted to talk about that stupid bird trail, which was fun and really hard. I mean, even at its hardest, I was still having fun, but the 2 plus a little bit miles back to the truck seems like a really, really long way right now. So I'm going to sit here. I got my backup bottle of water out. I'm going to drink some more of that, dump the rest of this into my squeeze bottle, which isn't all the way empty, but I wanted to take a full pack off break this time to let everything air out, because I was really starting to get sweaty back there on the bird trail. But hopefully you enjoyed that little section of the video, and I'll have some final thoughts for you on down the trail. Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. Once again, I got so tired I forgot to record the ending to the video, but I'm glad you stuck around. As you can see, I got some food cooking in the pan behind me. Yeah, it's just beef. That's all I really eat. It's beef. But I was really starting to hurt out there on the trail today, and I couldn't figure out why for the longest while, because, I occasionally, my left knee will start to hurt just a little bit, but several of the big muscles in my legs started to hurt, my ankles started to hurt, both knees started to hurt. The last mile was really rough, and I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And then I remembered, I did have a little cheat yesterday. Not a big cheat, just a little cheat. They were there was a loaf of some kind of banana nut bread in here that I think Miss Jessica or Miss Amanda had made and brought in, and everybody had eaten it down. But I like to clean things up in here at night before I go home, before I go out to bed. And there was this, it was one of those throwaway pans, and I should have just thrown it away. But there was this little slice of the crust at the end of it. It was, it wasn't even a quarter of an inch thick. It was just a little thin slice. And I thought, man, that looks really good. I shouldn't, but I'm going to eat it. So I ate that. It wasn't the 2 or 3 little bites of like banana nut bread, but it had some kind of a sugar coating on the outside. And just reinforces what I learned on Thanksgiving. I just can't have stuff like that. It was, literally, it couldn't have been more than 100 calories or so of banana bread. But the sugar in it, just, I'm sure I'm having a reaction to that, and that's why all of my joints hurt. Because I had a really good hike out there today, except that for that last mile that really hurt. But my total for today, as I expected, got a little over 6 miles. It was like 6.23 miles, so it's actually about 6.25 miles to do the loop that I did. But other than that last little bit where my joints really started to hurt, everything went really, really well. But thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to be 1% better today, folks. Be better than I was, because even that, it was just a tiny little bite of bread that I should have just thrown away before I cleaned up the counter. But my, carb-addicted brain said, "Ooh, look at that. That's not very much. That won't hurt you." Well, obviously it did. So just keep yourselves on track, folks. Be 1% better, and I will see you tomorrow.